you doing, folks? Today we are in St. Wolfgang in Austria, and we're going to check out a little 16th note groove. You can see there, one of the main things that was happening in this groove is that the right hand is playing a really continuous 16th note figure, just 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1, and all of the bass drum and the snare drum figures are falling around that. So the first thing that you want to get used to doing and develop, I guess, is just that right hand pattern first, and pretty much everything that happens is independent of that. We never change that pattern in any of the variations that we're going to look at as well. Alright, so let's check out the right hand first. We're playing an accent with the shoulder of the stick on the edge of the hi-hat on each of the down beats, each of the numbered beats, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're also playing on the second and the third 16th note of each beat as well as we move through. So it's like 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. The only 16th we're not playing on is the 4th. So now the technique that I'm using there is I'm really loading up on the first one. So, you know, a lot of people sort of refer to this as like the molar technique and things like that. So we're pulling back on the first one and throwing down with a fair bit of effort on the first one, and just making sure that we time it with the height that the edge of the stick, or the shoulder of the stick, does hit the edge of the hi-hat on that first beat. That'll just help define the pulse a little bit more. If we have these thick and these thin sounds, we can really define the pulse and know where the beat is, rather than everything or all being the same, which doesn't really groove as well. Alright, now as far as the second and the third note, I'm gradually bringing the wrist up throughout the 3 notes so that the second and the third note are first of all softer, but I'm also timing it so that with the height of the wrist is that I'm just high enough that I'm playing with the tip on the top as well. So it's like, if I break it right down, it's like 1 E and the and, that third note, so we've got like down, coming up on the second, and on the third it's a little bit higher. That's really important that you do continue to come up, because you know that you're going to be doing that motion again, and in order to get that whip and that motion in the second lot of 3, or the third or the fourth lot of 3, you've got to be up to start with. You can't be down low and expect to get a really loud sound, okay? So that's the motion. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Now, in a lot of the grooves, I was basically playing bass drum or snare drum figures on the 4th 16th, so kind of filling in that missing gap. We're playing 1 E and the R, which comes next, there's no hi-hat, so that's a nice place to put the bass drum or the snare drum, alright? I am playing on beat 1, and in this first beat, I'm going... Alright, so I'm playing on beat 1 with the bass drum, and I'm playing on the 4th 16th of beat 1 with the snare. So I'm getting 1 E and R. Alright, nice solid rim shot I'm going for here. You can rim shot if you want, you can half stroke, full stroke, whatever it is you want to do, depending on how you like to play, your sound, etc. That's what I'm doing. Then on beat 2, I'm playing 2 E and R. Another bass drum on the 4th 16th note of beat 2. So it's 2 E and R. 2 E and R. And you'll notice every time I press my bass drum pedal, the snare drum wobbles in the boat. But that's okay. So we've now got 1 E and R, 2 E and R. That's the first 2 beats. Now beat 3 is exactly the same as beat 2. So if you can do beat 2, you just got to do it twice in a row. Alright, you've got 2 E and R, 3 E and R. It's the same thing. So far, the first 3 beats are nice and slow. 1 E and R, 2 E and R, 3 E and R. That's all it is. Again, 1 E and R, 2 E and R, 3 E and R. Speedboat. Cool. Alright, then in beat 4, we have again 4 E and R, and then another 16th to get back to beat 1, so 4 E and R 1, but of course we have the backbeat on the snare drum on beat 4 as well. So we've got 4 E and R 1, and that's it, alright? And then of course you hit hi-hat on beat 1 with the bass drum. Here come the waves from the speedboat. I'm not even going to attempt it. Whoa, we go over! Oops. Oh shit, because I had. All right. But we're not going to cut. We're not going to cut. We're going to keep going. So we've got... Oh! Cut. 4E and 1. Here we go. The whole thing is now nice and calm. We've got... Oh. It's a swan. You've got to get the swan. All right, let's get the swan real quick. Just have a look at the swan. There we go, it's a swan. All right, good, and back.